All right. We are rocking out once again. Thursday night live. This is On the Clock NFL Draft Show. This is episode number 23, and we are still rocking with the Senior Bowl. We're just keeping it rolling. Nino, my guy, he's like, I thought we were done when we had the offensive and defensive guys, and Nino's like, no way. There's a lot more to the Senior Bowl, and we could still give our suggestions to Jim. So, Jim, if you're listening this evening, we're going to give some suggestions on coaches, head coaches, positional coaches, all that good stuff for the Senior Bowl coming up in 2024. Now I'm going to introduce my co-host this evening. I'm going to start with Nino Brown at Nino Brown _T2T, and he is the mayor of college football. Nino, what's cooking?
I really thought for a brief second when you were like, it's Thursday night, I thought like Thursday night SmackDown was coming out of your mouth. Like I felt like it was like a WWE moment right there. But I'm excited for this one. This was just a different thing, keeping the theme going, right? Why not? You were already throwing some punches at me, this morning about my list of my wish list. He says it's a wish list, and then he goes, well, it's supposed to be a real wish. I'm like, what the whoa, a wish is a wish, right? Like everybody is different, right? I wish big. That's the way I go. I go big or go home. So
I said he put the wish and wish list. If you're listening at home, if you're listening at home, you can comment, and if you think if you can understand where I'm coming from. But I like it.
I know where you're coming from. I just got to give you a hard time. But before you pass the torch, I just want to give kudos to my man at the bottom of the screen, the governor of college football, my man KT. He just dropped some insane Warwick Dunn piece on CFB Nation on the YouTube. Go check it out. This is unique. Just my man is the voice behind it. He's doing his thing, the production. So go check it out and give us in a review. Appreciate that.
Man, they're up to 600 subscribers on CFB Nation. I wouldn't be surprised if 1,000 is hit by August. So check it out. The work's phenomenal. Nino introduced him. He's the governor of college football. It's at Leverett _KT on the Twitter. KT, what's cooking?
Hey, what's happening, man? This is the Michael Jeffrey Jordan episode. It's definitely gonna get a little unchy in here. I'm sure it is. I'm excited. I know Coach last week wasn't able to be on the episode, but I know he's ready to throw some punches today. So I'm definitely ready to see Muhammad Ali in the flesh today. Coach is gonna be ready.
I was listening in. I heard. I heard some things. I hear some things. All right, I listen. I don't
slander.
Know
he says.
Slander. Drake May. It's all good. It's all good. I gotta plant my flag because you guys are like. You guys are in the driver's seat and the passenger seat with this college football stuff. I'm like the wild kid in the back seat looking out the back window thinking he's driving. Remember when we were kids? Like we were in the back seat, looking the other direction. Yeah. So
Max up comes up on you.
But regardless, if I feel comfortable about something, I'm going to say it with my chest. Regardless.
I love it.
Yeah. And Boomer, not here this evening. One of his kids has a baseball game this evening. So good luck.
Horns down for him, right? Horns down.
Hopefully you kick some butt. Nino, speaking of, Boomer, you had Oklahoma ranked what? Like, so the last episode of CFB Prime, you did your top 25 rankings. I saw you had Texas ranked 13th. I like that.
Yeah.
Where did you have Oklahoma ranked?
I believe I had Oklahoma ranked 17. I'm pretty sure it was 17.
14.
14?
Pretty sure it was 14. Maybe it was 17. I had him ranked 14.
Though.
Let me see. Hold on. I can pull it up somewhere. I'm pretty sure it was.
It probably was 17.
Actually, it was 14. You're correct because Texas was 13. They were back to back.
Yeah.
Wherever it was, though, I know Boomer was happy.
Yeah, he was happy. He had room to climb, so he was cool. I did say, and I'm gonna keep planting the flag. It's early. KT even said to me the show was done. He goes, "Yo, wild man, it's early. You're already saying your prediction. I'm going LSU, Texas for the Natty."
I like it, man. I got some LSU stuff behind me. I got a Quinn Ewers signed jersey right here. That one of these days, we'll figure out a way to get rid of that. I got this. I know you didn't.
I can send you an address.
Yeah,
I can send you an ad.
Caleb Williams signed. We'll figure out a way. But so you're hearing us talk about CFB Nation. If you're watching right now to hear us, you're at the Toilets Titles Podcast Network on YouTube. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to CFB Nation for all that college football goodness. Because right now, like there's plenty of time to talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about. Because this is kind of like this is the mellow time of the year. It's going to start picking up like in August. It's going to be like
season.
to be honest and to be fair about how we conduct ourselves, it's always like business. Like, it's always business. Like we have a good time, but it's always like head down, grind. But in August, that's when it's like we got a lot of, if you're listening now, there's a chance you're not a chance. You're a lunatic like we are. You're listening to NFL draft discussion. And I say that with love. You know what I mean? Like I say that with love, but in August, everybody comes back who's not like us.
Yeah.
And we got to kind of shift our focus to whatever's going to, draw the masses. But right now we're having fun. We're talking Senior Bowl. And I think we're ready to dive into this thing. Just make sure you like, subscribe, comment. If you would like to see any of these coaches in the Senior Bowl, comment on here. If there's anybody you recommend, comment on here. We'll shout you out while we're doing this thing. And also, if you're just tuning in today, go back and check out episode 22 and episode 21 because we talked about offensive and defensive players we'd like to see in the Senior Bowl. What did D now just say? I missed it.
He said Texas Natty. That doesn't fit. Supposedly it's a pipe dream, right? But I always said that A&M is in the picture, right? And if Shark goes and loses and they get blown out, that's still not a pipe dream. Urban Meyer's Mr. McNugget. He drops them nuggets. Come on, D now. Get on the train. You'll be there soon.
Mr. McNugget. I think it'd be fun. Like college football, you guys know, like I'm not as hyped about one particular team. I kind of like to bounce around. And but I just think USC, Texas, LSU, Florida State, Miami, there's a few programs that it's exciting when they are relevant and they're doing well. So if we got to see Texas in a national championship, I don't think that's a bad thing. Like compared to the NBA Finals this year, like no, like I this year, like the names did not interest me. So it's like I think seeing Texas in the national championship, regardless, you're gonna have people who love it, people who hate it, but it's gonna draw eyes and it'll be very interesting.
They need relevancy. It's been a little bit, right?
Yeah. During the NBA Finals, I was watching CFB Prime.
Shout out. All right, let's kick this thing off. Nino, you got some. Why don't you talk about who you'd like to see? Should we start out with coordinators?
Yeah,
and then get to the head coaches at the end. Yeah, let's go with coordinators. Go ahead.
I'll go with my two defensive coordinators. I got. I said I hate to stay home a little bit, because I saw your thing and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go with my guy. I'm gonna go Gerard Mayo. Right, he's the co-defensive coordinator in New England. He's also the linebackers coach. He was a first-round pick in Tennessee Vols. He's been a Super Bowl champion, NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2008, first-team All-Pro, two-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-ACC. SEC. I'm sorry, he's a dude. Like he gets it. In my eyes, he's the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. The other guy is kind of just like a trickle-down effect from his dad. But that's it. Neither here nor there. I just think he would be a good presence there. And like I said, you like that point that they give OCs a shot to get in there, either whether it be a coordinator or head coach. I think this would be a good shot for Mayo to get in there. He's a loud guy. He gets his point across. So another guy I think would be good for two reasons. We always say we want to get the Senior Bowl out there a little more, right? And I got a guy that's gonna kind of would be like a popcorn version of getting the Senior Bowl guys out there. This other guy is in a more positive way because he's on a show that seems to be liked by a lot of people. That'd be Clay Matthews, right? Former Packers linebacker, former USC Trojan. He's co-host of the Pat McAfee show, right? He played for the Rams and the Packers. He's Super Bowl champion. He's first-team All-Pro, six-time Pro Bowler, Buckus Award winner. I mean, he was at the Senior Bowl. He was a participant there as well. So it's like, why not come home? Show these young guys, the right path. Hey, and maybe just bring an extra camera or something with you. I believe McAfee's with the ESPN or whatever it is now. So bring an extra camera guy, to do Jim a favor and put these Senior Bowl maybe out there a little bit more.
I think they could get McAfee up in the booth. Like on our side of the field, we were in the stands and, Wake Martindale and I had an exchange, but there were people across the stadium up in the booth that we couldn't see. But I don't know if Pat McAfee's the type of guy who'd want to be in a booth not being seen. So
sleeves off. He might be sleeves off in a little tent on the field. Like we're gonna go live and
one-on-ones. Like they'd be. It would be. I'm not gonna give too much away, but I like the vibe you're rolling with. Like it would be a movie. Like if Nino's coaching staff played out, because now Clay Matthews too. Like he's no.
Dude.
But he's also he's just got an aura. He's got like a vibe. And what else I liked about this is you're covering both coasts. So whether you're an East Coast kid, whether you're a West Coast kid, you got somebody representing your side of the country because it's all good. It's all KT. Who are your coordinators on the defensive side of the football?
I'm excited about my defensive coordinators. The first guy is Chuck Smith. He's a Baltimore Ravens linebacker coach. He's a former Senior Bowl participant. He actually won the 1992 Senior Bowl MVP. Was named a unanimous 1991 All-Conference performer after leading the SEC in sacks as a senior for the Tennessee Volunteers. I think we all had similar ideas. Anybody that are specialist coaches, let's get them in a coordinator role. Mm-hmm. Anybody who are coordinators, let's get them in a head coaching role. That's typically the way that Nagy likes to run things at the Senior Bowl. Mm-hmm. And then my second guy is someone that I didn't know anything about. Is Preston Buckner. He's Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line coach. He was a 1994 Senior Bowl participant, played college ball at Clemson from 1990 to 1993, where he finished his collegiate career with 22 sacks and 46 tackles for loss. That's crazy. Buckner was selected in the second round of the 1994 NFL draft by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Dog.
Chuck Smith played for the Falcons, I believe, too.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and Chuck Smith, when I coached high school football, one of the guys who coached edge defenders, Chuck Smith, for a while, I think before he got his opportunity coaching in the NFL, he did a lot of training for NFL players and college players. Like he spent a lot of time working with them on their pass rush technique. So I think by doing that, he earned himself some credibility. So, and we're in the age of Instagram training. Like everybody can be an Instagram trainer.
Yeah.
Chuck Smith was an Instagram trainer who gained credibility and got a job with the Baltimore Ravens. So I don't know if I have the timeline correct. Maybe he was working with the NFL before that, but my first time noticing him was through that. But that's impressive. Yeah. Now think about a guy like that walks into the Senior Bowl and he can say like, "Hey, young man, this is how you should do it. I've worked with this guy. I've worked with that guy. I've worked with that guy. And by the way, I'm working with these guys now." So I like it. I like it. All right. My defensive coordinators, I'm going up to New England. And, like you being a New England fan, you're spoiled. So like being a Cowboys fan, what I wouldn't give for that coaching staff. I loved me some Jason Garrett. Mike McCarthy's, getting on my good side. But I want to see Steve Belichick. I want to see young Belichick coach out of his dad's shadow, coordinating the defense down there. I think it'd be fun to watch. I think it'd be fun to have a Belichick over there. And then former New England Patriots defense coordinator Matt Patricia. I got nothing but love for Matt Patricia. I thought in Detroit the team was soft. And they just couldn't handle this guy, and they ran him out of town. But I not only do I like Matt Patricia as a coach, I bumped into him. I might have told this story probably
it's a damn dry erase board. Put the pencil down.
He's a genius. Matt Patricia.
But don't get me going. Don't.
Matt Patricia and I had an exchange in Disney World. After the Patriots won the Super Bowl, you've probably heard this story before. I walk up to a man. I would have never done this if I actually thought it was Matt Patricia. So it's after the Super Bowl. I'm at Disney World with my kids. It's probably like 8 years ago. And I'm like, "Hey, man, has anyone ever told you look like Matt Patricia?" Because he had like the hat on. And he's like, "I am." And I'm like, "You're full of the S word." And but I like jokingly, like, and he had a double stroller. And the back flaps on the double stroller, he flipped over the top of the stroller. And I saw the back of number 12 jerseys for two kids, and they said Patricia on them. And then he had a T-shirt on with the New England Patriots logo and a crest, and it said "Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Championships." And I just thought that was such a, like, that statement, life, liberty, and the pursuit of championships. Like, if that's not why you're doing it, like, what are you doing it for? And then ever since then, so I enjoy some Matt Patricia. He's with the Philadelphia Eagles this year. It hurts me to my soul, but I'd like to see him as a defense coordinator at the Senior Bowl. So, Nino, who are your OCs?
Listen, I like Patricia for about 3 seasons in New England as offensive coordinator. And some like this thing I talk about with some guys in college football get a little big for their britches. They think they can do all they want. Go to Detroit, be a head coach, fall on your face. Now you're going to come back and be a defensive guy, fall on your face. Stay in your lane. Be humble. Put the pencil away. It's a dry erase board. It doesn't even make sense. They all use markers. What is the pencil for? You can't even write on it. It's laminated. It doesn't. I don't get it. All right.
Maybe it's good luck.
Yeah. Well, what happened when he was, the head coach? Where did that luck go?
Detroit was soft. They were too soft for him, and they had they shipped everyone out. They brought in some new players, and they brought in a new coach who's just as tough.
They always say you're as tough and as strong as soft, or maybe as your head coach, right?
I don't know. I think they quit under him. They quit under him. He worked them too hard.
Worked them too hard, huh? Everybody on that team.
Isn't that kind of what we were hearing come out of Detroit? Like that was kind of the consensus. Like we weren't there. I can't say.
But some of the things coming out of Detroit that he didn't know what he was doing either. But it was apparent that he didn't do something right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into my OCs. I got a guy. He was a Senior Bowl participant in 2003 for Texas Tech. Year after he threw 5,000 yards and 45 touchdowns. He was a head coach at Arizona Cardinals. He's now a QB, analyst for USC. However you want to air quote that. I don't know, Mister. I don't need a job, and now I want to be in with a job. So I got Cliff Kingsbury. I think it would be a slick little move, right? Get him in there. He's popular with the youth. They know him, right? He's QBs come in there, they want to chuck the rock around. This guy's known for just chucking the rock around. I mean, 5,000 yards, 45 touchdowns last year. That'll get done. He threw for 12,000 yards in college. So he knows what he's doing. I think his leadership, his knowledge, his background would be helpful at the Senior Bowl. Now this next guy, coach is giving me a lot of heat for this guy. And he's a free agent. Right, you got no job, no media head, no podcast, just doing his solo dolo thing, which is what he's pretty much done his whole celebrity career, right? Go to put it on the Star. Let me go lift some weights in my driveway. That's none other than Mr. Terrell Owens. Listen, back, I'm gonna show my age a little bit. Back many moons ago, a couple centuries. Terrell Owens played at Tennessee Chattanooga in 1996, and he was a Senior Bowl participant. Then he, came to the NFL, did his thing before the shenanigans, but the popcorn was there. 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time NFL. Yes. They're standing on the Star. I know Coach loves it. 5-time All-Pro. He's in the Hall of Fame for the 49ers. He was named to the NFL 2000s All-Decade team. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Played with 1 week back from a broken foot, or was that whatever it was, and went off in the Super Bowl. I guess the Patriots, they lost, but he still went off. You know what I mean? Dude went off. So he's just a freak. I know he's got a lot of baggage, and it's not Louis baggage like Prime, but it would just be something. Come home. You got nothing to do, T.O. Come show these kids what you can do from a small school, Tennessee Chattanooga. You want to talk small school and going and taking this Senior Bowl. This Senior Bowl put him on the map and got him drafted. And he just went to the 49ers and went off. Had an illustrious career. Dude, here's the story. Tie it all in. And here's my thing. It's all about getting the Senior Bowl, Jim Nagy and the whole program, a little bit more publicity. Getting these kids a little bit more up. T.O. doesn't walk around, without cameras. So there would definitely be some extra eyes on the Senior Bowl.
He'd be racing kids at the end of practice too. He'd be, and not for nothing, I love T.O. I love the player. T.O. I've always had a place in my heart for the dude because he turned himself into he wasn't he was, I'm sure, naturally gifted. He was born with talent. But you look at his body of work, and I highlight and emphasize the word body. He turned himself into Like, he worked his tail off. That dude, a young player, goes to a small school, doesn't have 5 stars, isn't being mocked in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
You listen to T.O. and he'll tell you how he did it. And then he'll probably show you how he did it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And you go, you a DB? Let's line up. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
all I'm saying with your list, we would, this year at the Senior Bowl, we spent a lot of time at the house. I would find out where all these people are. That's because that's where I want to be. After practice, where's Cliff Kingsbury going to be? Like, he's out about, like, I love it. I love it. KT, who's on your list at OC?
Yes, I had a couple of comments. First, Cliff Kingsbury, I love that pick. That's an excellent pick. He's pretty much on what I like to call a coaching sabbatical. We've seen this with, Nick Saban. We've seen it with, Lane Kiffin. We've seen it with Sarkisian. They go there, the head coaching jobs are going to come. So I fully expect Cliff Kingsbury to be a head coach in college football again. He's on a sabbatical. So him at the Reese Senior Bowl would be fantastic. T.O. at the Senior Bowl would be fantastic as well. I'm with Coach on this one. Like, he's definitely must-see TV.
Yeah.
Having them out there talking to the wide receivers, giving them little tricks of the game. He'll probably line up. We seen Marshawn Lynch do it. Go back to Cal. They gave him a carry. Of course, they told nobody on the field to touch him. But I can certainly see something like that where he try to sneak in and do some drills as well.
Come out of the tunnel game day with like the helmet on. I'm ready. Give me one.
Yeah, right.
KT, who's calling the offensive plays for you?
All right, so I got 2 people. First person I got is Antoine Randall L, who's the wide receivers coach for the Detroit Lions. I've always been a big fan of Antoine Randall L, really because I've always been a fan of Madden. And on Madden, you can switch positions. I used to always put him at quarterback and just run with him the entire time. When I switched, he's a cheat code at Indiana. Antoine Randall L, he had an interesting journey to the NFL, if I'm being honest. He was a quarterback. He threw for 42 touchdowns, 37 interceptions. He did in his collegiate career catch 7 passes for 90 yards and 1 touchdown. The thing that's interesting about him is he didn't really get wide receiver looks until the Senior Bowl. The Senior Bowl played a pivotal part in him, and his success in the NFL. I would love to see him as an offensive coordinator. Actually, locally, he worked with the local TV stations. He will help with the Washington Commanders football. So it's great that he's actually into coaching. The other guy I'm really excited about, and I'm going to have to really do a college football legend on Pat White. Pat White is one of my favorite college football players of all time. The dude is a dog. Right now, he's an offensive assistant for the Los Angeles Chargers. He was 2009 Senior Bowl MVP. If you remember what West Virginia was during that time period, and if you play any of the NCAA video games around that time, Pat White, West Virginia is just one of the teams you lined up with. He threw for 56 passing touchdowns, 23 interceptions, rushed for 4,480 yards, and 40 touchdowns. Pat White is definitely a college football legend. So don't be surprised if on CFB Nation soon you see us doing a college football legend on Pat White.
I'd like to see one like on a bunch of West Virginia players. Like Noel Devine, I brought him up to Nino, like Noel Devine, like West Virginia.
Slayton. Wasn't Slayton there? Steve Slayton?
Yeah, Steve Slayton.
Avon Austin, Stedman Bailey. They had dudes. Like West Virginia for a few years was an absolute highlight factory.
Yeah. Right.
It was like USC East. Like everything they were doing with Reggie Bush and like, maybe not, they didn't have anyone to Reggie Bush's level. But it was USC East Coast.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. All right, I'd like to see that too. And you remember Seneca Wallace?
Oh, yes, Iowa State Sly Combs.
When I think of Antoine Randall L, I thought Seneca Wallace would have a similar career trajectory. There are a few players kind of tweeners like that, but the Pittsburgh they knew how to do it because Cordell Stewart Slash, like
Slash was the epitome of like the all around. He literally did it all. Yeah. And
Madden, playing Madden with him was like
Seneca Wallace in Madden was a cheat code too. I mean, you just put him in Seattle and put him in. Like, I forget who the QB was, the starter when he was on the team, but
Man, I don't know.
What's the kid name? We
wanna
want
say
the
it was-
ball and we want to
no.
score.
McGuire, right? Was it Dan McGuire? No, he had a visor. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
It wasn't one of the brothers. What's the we want the ball and we going to score. We going to score. And then he threw the interception.
I don't remember.
to the Packers.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Hold on.
This is killing me. This is making me mad.
Man, this is one I don't know because last week, not on this, on head to head, you guys were talking about. Was it?
Hasselbeck.
Yeah.
When was the episode you guys were talking about Chad Muma? And Nino was like, Coach would know. And I was watching. I was like, I do know the name. This is one I don't know though.
Last week, because I was talking about the dude I brought up. Yeah, from Wyoming.
Yeah. So I don't know this one though, but I remember like these Russian quarterbacks. The first time I ever like the internet. If you're like in your 20s right now and you're watching this, the internet wasn't like this when we were growing up. So I remember playing Madden and not knowing how to stop running quarterbacks. And like back then, like if I don't know how you guys did it playing Madden, but like if my buddy picked a team, it's off limits. Like that's his team.
Yep.
I'm trying to find a team until I find my team that could beat his team. So my buddy being either the Falcons or I remember Googling like, how do you stop a rushing attack quarterback and under smoke?
It was the Packers. Under smoke
was the play.
Huh?
Yeah, you'd have a linebacker blitz through the middle, and then two linebackers off the edge, and you couldn't run on that. So if anybody goes back in time and needs to beat a Russian quarterback, use under smoke in Madden 2000.
I love it.
Yeah. All right, so my offensive coordinators, I'm going with one I believe won a Senior Bowl MVP, and that was Davis Webb. And Davis Webb, I believe, is out of Richmond, Virginia. Okay, I think they're like the Spiders or something. And I remember that was every year there's a name of kind of a small school quarterback kind of pops up. This year there were a few names, but no one really stepped up. I know, Carson Wentz was a small school guy who stepped up. And then I think the Giants drafted a kid. I don't know if it was Webb or someone else a few years around then, but whatever. Now he balled out in the Senior Bowl, got drafted in the NFL, didn't do really nothing. He was a perennial backup, but perennial backup turns into a quarterback coach.
Yeah.
He watched somebody succeed. He had some success. Now he's working with the Denver Broncos under Sean Payton, get an opportunity, come out, be the offensive coordinator. He's the new school. My other offensive coordinator is the old school, and that's Mark Brunell. When I was looking through positional coaches to try to figure out, who would I like to see that's a positional coach, and I saw that Mark Brunell's in Detroit. A, I was shocked. I haven't heard of Mark Brunell in a long time. But B, I was like, that's a guy I'd love to see down there, because Mark Brunell, Jacksonville Jaguars, brand new team, like expansion team. Mark Brunell takes that over. They go to didn't they go to a Super Bowl? Come on. So he's been there. He's done that. He's athletic. He's tough. He'll chuck the ball around. He's got some experience. So I got a young guy in Davis Webb, and I got some old-time experience with Mark Brunell. So those are my OCs. And, Nina, you could take it over now. You can move on to head coaches.
I'm going to change one on the fly. I had McDaniels on you. I'm throwing him out the box. Screw him. I don't want him. I'm going to go with D'Angelo Hall, right?
Ooh.
Because he's the DB coach over in Carolina on the Frank Wright, just got hired. D'Angelo Hall is a dude. In the NFL, he was one of them guys that could lock you down and talk all the smack to you, and there was nothing that you could do about it, right? He had a couple guys burn him, and he lost probably a few matchups.
He lost an Achilles to DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, but when in his prime, you weren't touching him, okay?
And then now talk about Virginia, like we're just West Virginia now, Virginia Tech, like
dude, he's a dog.
Shout out
you,
dog.
See, it came to me. I'm like, I'm going D Hall, but yeah, I think we said TO for the wide receivers. You bring in D'Angelo Hall, right? Secondary, you're just gonna sit there and listen to this man speak. I did it for how long? I played against the best wide receiver. Once put me on an island, I'm locking him down. Right now in the back end of my career, I'm gonna go coach. So I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna give you guys some points. I'm gonna help you out and teach you, what you can get to the next level. Just he's already guiding my guy Jamie Robinson. Jay Robinson is gonna be like a hybrid Tyrann Mathieu that they're gonna use him out there in Carolina. They're saying early day impactful player. So, let's get D-Hall down to the Senior Bowl and let's get things cooking.
Love the pick.
The other one, he's already a coach, all right? But this dude was a dog at Alabama, okay? Dog in the Cotton Bowl game, right? Dog in the NFL for the team that he coaches and for the Eagles. And that's D'Amico Ryans, okay? Let's bring a guy who's got that demeanor. He got that swag, right? Walk tall. Well, I remember that movie with The Rock, Walking Tall. That's D'Amico Ryan. He ain't that tall, but he can walk tall. He can handle himself, and he carries a big stick. My man, truck stick you. He probably still gets out there and puts the hand down in stance and be like, all right, boys, let's rock him. So just, his presence on that field alone gonna make everybody stand up a little bit straighter. Ain't no days off, no seconds to just chill. You're gonna know you're gonna be under the gun. You're gonna know this guy, he was just playing ball just a short time ago, just like Hall. And now this dude's running teams that he played. Like, you were a linebacker for the Texans for years, right? And then went to the Eagles and did well as well. So give me D'Amico Ryans. Give me D'Angelo Hall.
And the Texans don't have a first this year, correct?
Correct.
So D'Amico Ryans, I think that would be very enticing because there's going to be a lot of guys who aren't in the first round consideration. It would just be interesting to see who he's got eyes for.
What do we call that, Coach? You call that full circle?
Yeah,
coming full circle.
Full circle. Yeah, and what I enjoy about this episode so much is all these names. Thinking about all these guys in college, like we went down that West Virginia chat. Now D'Angelo Hall at Virginia Tech, D'Amico Ryans at Alabama. I'm thinking about Alabama linebackers. I'm thinking about my guy, brain fart, number 55, Rolando McClain.
Big hitter,
man. But he couldn't get out of his own way. But anyway, it would be great because in years past at the Senior Bowl, I think this was the first year in a while, I could be wrong, that they didn't actually have a head coach coaching each team, and they let coordinators do it. But I believe in years past they used to give it to whoever's picking in like the top 5. One team would have one coaching staff, one team would have another. So this is D'Amico Ryans there. That's practical, and D'Angelo Hall is a guy I was considering too, at one of my spots. But I like it. I'm glad we were able to get this on the list. So KT, who are your head coaches?
My head coaches is one. Nino probably would have figured this out in no time. One being Todd Monken. I have a great level of respect for Todd Monken. What he was able to do with those UGA offenses with a quarterback as Stetson Bennett that a lot of people were skeptical on, with his best wide receiver at time, other than the tight end position with Brock Powers, was McConkey. I don't know how they was doing it, but Todd Monken is a guy that has had success almost everywhere that he's been. I think the key with Todd Monken is the fact that, one, he was literally just in college football. He was just with Georgia. Now that he's with the Ravens, he's not too far away from the collegiate scene where he can really talk these players up and tell these players what it takes to get to the next level. Think about if we go back, to around 2011, Oklahoma State, Brandon Whedon and Justin Blackman were first round picks, and Todd Monken had a lot to do with that. He was their offensive coordinator at Southern Miss. He took over as head coach, finishing an 0-12 year. A couple years later, they're bowl eligible. Todd Monken knows how to get the job done, and we've seen it at both levels. Now, Mike Kafka is my next guy. He's offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. I know some people are really weird when it comes to credibility, as far as, the head coach is really the play caller. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he's offensive coordinator for the Giants, former quarterback of Northwestern, where he played in 30 games, threw for 4,265 yards and 19 TDs, gave the Giants a huge shot in the arm last season, scored 107 more points in 2022 than they did in 2021. So I like to see him get an opportunity for head coaching as well.
I like it. Those are two good ones there. Yeah, Monken's an absolute stud. So it'd be exciting to see him over there. And Kafka, I mean, where did DeBall come from? DeBall came from someone else's coaching tree, and now Kafka is like next in line under DeBall's coaching tree. So that's the trickle down effect in the NFL. So go ahead, Nino.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we were talking about T.O. before, and it just dawned on me. I had to go check it out. T.O. comes. Ocho's probably coming.
That would be dope.
He played. He went the Senior Bowl. He played in the Senior Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a dog wide receiver at Oregon State. He only went for 800 yards. The Senior Bowl put Chad Johnson on the map. For
Chad went to Oregon State.
Yeah, he went from JUCO to Oregon State.
Did Rosada go to Oregon State too?
Who's Rosada?
I think
did they both go to Oregon State? Like,
I'll tell you right now.
That's crazy, and I never put that together.
No,
but I want to say Coach is correct.
Yeah, they both went to Oregon State.
Yeah.
Weird,
and they both went to
right.
The 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, because he had 800 yards and 8 touchdowns.
That's the Mandela effect. You ever heard of the Mandela effect?
Yeah.
Like no
Butterfly,
way.
all that.
Bernstein Bears.
Yeah, I don't.
Bernstein. Oh, don't get me going.
I know, right?
But Senior Bowl guys been there already, right? He was there, had a career. Like both of those guys. Oregon State is obviously Pac-12, but like both these guys weren't 5-star dudes coming out of their senior year, and then they took the Senior Bowl and took them to the next level. And they getting the eyes, man. It's all about getting the eyes on the Senior Bowl. Getting the eyes.
It'd just be a shame that Tank Dell didn't get to be mentored like a year after he's gone. I feel like it would have been so exciting to watch how he, kind of went about his business with Ojo Cinco or Terrell Owens there. I think they, I don't know. I feel it would have been a little more electric to see him with those guys. I think they would have took a liking to him. So, all right, let me move on to my head coaches here, and one of them, a little bit of a homer, but I do think so. I got Kellen Moore. I think he went to Boise State. I think he's another guy like similar to T.O., but obviously T.O.'s a lot more gifted, and in the NFL, like he reached his limits. I think Kellen Moore reached his limits. I don't think his limits were, you know what I mean? Like, like he reached the pinnacle of what his body was capable of. And unfortunately for him, it only got him so far. Whereas a guy like T.O., his pinnacle, like All-Pro, Hall of Famer. But I think Kellen Moore's learned the ins and outs of the NFL. He's a young guy. He's worked with some young quarterbacks. He's helped some young quarterbacks. Now he's going to kind of be in a little bit. I mean, he was in Dallas. So to say he's going into the spotlight now, I mean, he was in the spotlight. But now he's working with a guy like Justin Herbert, which it's going to be fun to watch. That offense is going to be fun to watch. Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson. So I think I'd really like to see him head coach, because I think one day, before like the Mike McCarthy stuff happened, Kellen Moore was the guy everybody was talking about as the next head coach to come out of Dallas. But then Dan Quinn became the coordinator that everybody sought after. So Kellen Moore, I'd like to see him as a head coach. And then another guy who used to be in Dallas, who was Dan Quinn before Dan Quinn in Dallas, who also came from Seattle, Chris Richard. He's the defensive coordinator in New Orleans. He was, as much as people say, Dan Quinn being responsible for the Legion of Boom, Chris Richard was responsible for the Legion of Boom, and he helped the Dallas defense when we had a lot less weapons than Dan Quinn has to work with. We had guys like J.J. Wilcox, who was a converted running back at like Georgia Southern, playing safety for us. Like we had nobody. Chris Richard helped the defense. Eventually, new coaching regime. He goes out there to New Orleans, but that guy, he knows how to coach. He knows how to coach defense, and I love his fire, his passion, his intensity. You watch him on the sideline, he demands attention, and he commands respect. So those are two guys I'd like to see as head coaches down there. Go ahead, KT.
Shout out to Ultra Cowboy. He made a couple of interesting comments. He said, my prediction is the Cowboys will draft Cooper Beebe in the first round. That's one of Nino's guys. He said Kellen Moore can design plays, but he does not have the feel to call plays. Not that good. And he said Kellen Moore can't command a room. I wanted to speak on Kellen Moore a little bit more. This is out there, like when he arrived to Boise, Idaho, like while he was a senior, and you know how a lot of people leave early in the spring. He found Boise State's playbook and learned the playbook and knew the playbook by the time he arrived on campus. Like, bro is a workaholic. I think he'll figure out the coordinator part. I think it's also difficult to call plays for a person who used to call plays. I just think that it's difficult to do. I think that's why we've seen the divide between Sean McDermott and help me out here, the Buffalo Bills defense coordinator. Step down. Leslie Frazier.
Oh yeah,
I
Frazier.
think that's
Yep.
why. I think that's why we're seeing a divide, because in certain moments, Sean McDermott, who's a natural defensive play caller, just wanted to, take over the play calling or wanted him to do it a certain way. It's difficult calling plays for people who used to call plays.
Yeah, and we're gonna see this year, as much as you think about Kellen Moore, I thought he was good.
Mhm.
I just think every now and then he got cute. Like he got cute. Like we're marching down the field and then we're doing a triple reverse and we're
Big
moving
for
ourselves.
your britches, man. Too big for your britches.
It's bringing this is full circle again.
Hey,
But-
I got a question. Is
Yeah.
it dude, at the Senior Bowl, there's no like college affiliated coaches, right? Or is there?
Saban was there, I believe, last year, but I don't
No,
think
but like
they have
not
anything
on
to
the
do
staff,
with it.
right?
Nah, if there was, I would have had Graham Harrell in there.
I would like to see JP Lossman because he's over in Oklahoma.
He went to Tulsa, right? Or
Yeah,
Tulane?
and he was JP Lossman.
Tulane.
I think it was
I'm one of the
Tulane.
T's.
It's
Tulane.
I'm pretty sure it was Tulane.
Yeah,
Let me check.
and Buffalo drafted him.
Oh yeah, Tulane and
work
Buffalo drafted him, and he didn't
Yeah.
work out over there. But yeah, I mean, now he's back at college. I like to see,
No.
who knows? I have a funny feeling JP Lossman might be working his way into a quarterback coaching job in the NFL. I can see that trajectory happening.
Yeah.
All right,
It'd
I
be
love
nice
it.
if they brought some college coaches on that were coordinators.
Yeah.
Colin Klein, Kansas State offensive coordinator.
Right.
Great, big fan of his.
You know who's a player I was considering? Well, he's a coach now.
Mhm.
Dorsey, the quarterback.
Ken Dorsey?
Ken Dorsey. I was thinking about him too. So Ken Dorsey is a guy, from the U. When the U was still like they were. That's another, like we were talking West Virginia. Let's go to that. Like Frank Gore, Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis. That running back room.
Favorite back ever, Clinton Portis.
That running
my
back
favorite.
room was absolutely
Still-
absurd.
Still,
Like, dude, Gore tore both his knees like in college. Everyone, and that's how McGahee got a shot.
Right.
Like, he and then he comes into the NFL, plays 25 years.
ridiculous, right?
I'm telling you, Nino, it's gonna be Nick Chubb. 10 years from now, we're gonna be doing this. We're gonna have,
We're talking Nick
we're
Chubb.
gonna have
Yeah.
250K subscribers on both channels, and we're still gonna be talking about Nick Chubb. That dude's made of absolute steel. And Cleveland said they're gonna use him as a
I was
passing
just
down
gonna
back this
say,
year.
yeah. Hey, but you know what? You know what that means? My dynasty diamond for Jerome Ford looks better because now he's gonna get carries because Nick Chubb cannot. Listen, I know he's a dude, but he can't be on the field for 80% of the game.
And if he gets hurt, they're running an offense with the plan to not take a back off the field.
Right.
So the backup who gets slotted in for the injured starter is going to be expected to handle 3-down responsibility. But this is NFL draft talk. We're getting into diamonds. I just couldn't help myself. But shout out to Ultra Cowboy. He watches all the Now About Them Cowboys episodes, and we haven't been live lately. We've been pre-recording them, so I haven't had an opportunity to interact with them. So I appreciate you supporting our content, man, and checking us out. So KT and Nino, you guys got anything else to drop before we wrap this thing up?
No, man, I'm good, man. It's been a great week. We had a lot of content in CFP Nation, a lot of content on T2T Network. Listen,
You're hot. You're hot. Talk about it.
No, I got
Talk about it.
Couple good picks. That's all I'm saying.
Fridays on the T2T Network, playing with House Money at noon, and they might be learning a little bit something from Mr. Nino Brown.
I got a couple picks. I had the over in the LSU total runs game. I had yesterday I hit with I forget what it was, but I hit today already in the first game. I'm waiting on my St. Louis game, see if that goes. I'm trying to give Prue a little run for his money. I love my man Chris because
both of you, man. Like,
dude,
I'm like, yesterday work was like absolutely bananas, and then you guys like just the heat being sent back and forth. It's like I'm ducking and covering. I can't get in the middle of this right now.
But if you get a chance, we talking production. My man KT killed the production on that. My top 25. Go check it out. I call it the smoke list because I'm gonna get a couple people fired up. But go check it out, and I appreciate everybody who comes to watch us. Whether it's on CFB Nation, T2T, you guys are great. We got to get Ultra Cowboy a T2T package. You get him and get him somehow on a DM or something and Twitter, and we'll send him out a care package.
Hey, reach out to us on the email, toiletstotitles@gmail.com. Get you in the Gilded if you want to chat in there, because we're in there 24/7. But you can also send over your address. I'll send you one of these sweet lanyards, man. We got some.
We got stickers. We got pins. We got it all.
Tons of stuff, man. This is awesome. It stinks to come to the end of this thing because I feel like we're just getting started. But I'm gonna check out that Warwick Dunn piece because my phone alerted me as soon as it went live. I was like, oh, I got to check this out. And then I'm gonna be looking forward to the Pat White piece, and if it turns into a West Virginia piece, and then
that would be fire.
Maybe we'll do a dual West Virginia. I'm down.
Maybe even Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis,
Yo, don't get
Hey, that would be fire. Yeah, we gonna have to collab.
There's possibilities.
And get some of this done that we can tell stories from our own perspective. That'd be fire.
Yeah. I'm down.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, everybody. We appreciate you. You know where we are every Thursday. 8:30 p.m. next week. I'm not sure. We kind of got some ideas where we're going. I'm not sure. But if you're just catching this for the first time this evening, go back, check out episode 21. Check out episode number 22. We talked offensive players we'd like to see at the Senior Bowl, defense players we'd like to see at the Senior Bowl. And I can't wait to get to the Senior Bowl. I know I can't wait because I love me some football, especially if the Cowboys are doing all right. If the Cowboys stink out the gate, Dak gets hurt, things, then I can't wait. Then I'll be skipping the main show on Tuesday night, and I'll draft all the time, like second or third week of September. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we can all wait patiently, but we'll be talking about it all year for those of you who can't wait. All right. We will catch you all